when the dad was driving and just shot him like a bunch of times through the window until he was dead.
Oh my God, it's terrible.
Which is horrifying. So now we're back at the start. Catherine and her brother have no choice. They're like, shit, we have to go confront these people. They pull up to the farm. They get out of the car. They walk up to him. The guy's like, basically, hey, I'm the guy who killed your father. Doesn't seem concerned about it. Doesn't seem concerned how they feel about it. Just want you to know everything's going to be okay. You guys are protected. Just keep paying the tax. Keep paying what you're supposed to pay, but we're taking over the farm. And it got muddy there. I think they took the farm over, and then Catherine and them didn't have to worry about it anymore, but they still had to pay them. It's complicated and muddy, and I didn't get all the details. And so they're standing there, and the brother's like, whatever you do, Catherine, just walk backwards. When we leave, don't turn around. And she's like, what? And they walked slowly back, kept eye contact the whole time, got in the car, backed the car up, kept eye contact the whole time, and left. And apparently these guys are just like animals. Even though they said all that, if you turned around, one of them will just pop a shot at you for no reason. They're just wild men living in the woods doing terrible things. And I thought that was really interesting. They treated them like a gorilla or like a lion or any type of apex predator where like you don't... Well, actually, a gorilla is wrong because you don't look at them. But like there's certain animals, if you look away, they'll come at you, which I just thought was really creepy. So life changed immediately after that. Catherine explained she went into fight or flight mode. Her body, she didn't feel really. Like I was like, are you devastated? I'm like, Jesus, like, I mean, you're telling the story, a lot years and years later. Like, were you devastated? She's like, at the time, I was just numb. Like when your dad gets killed and there's militants and all this is going on, you are just, you go numb in survival mode. You're not even
in shock.
Like that. Yeah, she's like, I mean, I'm sure she cried a little bit, but she wasn't like, I don't know, devastated just for weeks on end. Like they couldn't have time for it. So a couple days later, her brother Eric, the guy who showed up at the farm, went to the local government and was like, this militia took our farm. He tried to get it back legally. Unfortunately, the militia found out and then killed him the same exact way as the father died. Guy on a motorcycle shot up the car and killed her brother. So the family went into full panic mode. Obviously, they thought they were next. There's no way of protecting this. What are we going to fucking do? So they left the country and immediately flew to Miami, where one of their sisters had moved to and had a small apartment. The mom, Catherine, I think another brother, I forget how much in the family was, they had a younger brother too, all went there and immediately sought asylum and did eventually get it. But as soon as it was released, as soon as that fear and pain of what happened to them, well, the pain stayed for a while, and she was able to finally relax and get out of fight or flight mode, she immediately started having a terrible pain in her stomach. She was going to high school. She went to different doctors, but no one could figure it out. One doctor was like, it's psychological. You're having psychological pain. That was like a thing people said to people in the 80s and 90s. It's not real. But the nurse that was with her during that was like, this is BS. This doctor is being a dick. So I'm going to send you to a doctor who can maybe help you, a specialist. So she went to another doctor and found out that she had severe pancreatic cancer. Just cancer. Horrible. Going to kill you cancer.
How old was she? She was in college
high school
or something. High school. Oh my God.
She's 15, 16. She's 17 or about to finish high school. So it's right as she's trying to finish high school. She actually got the diagnosis and said, and they were like, we have a surgery for you, and there's only a 3% chance of you living. And she's like, well, I need to finish high school this month. I don't care how much pain I'm in. And they're like, that's a really bad decision. And Catherine Eva was like, yeah, it was a bad decision. But I did it anyways because for some reason I just was like, I'm not going to die. I don't care. And she finished high school. Her fucking teacher thought she was a drug addict because she kept she looked like shit. Her eyes were baggy. And she kept running out of class to go throw up and shit in the bathroom. And would come back, and the teacher thought she was a drug addict and later apologized. So she went into surgery, and she was so fired up and so stubborn and refusing to die and so fiery, which makes sense if you know Catherine. And she was like,
it totally makes sense.
She was claiming she was claiming that the anesthesia didn't even work on her really, so she didn't even pass out. The surgery happened, and you're supposed to be out cold, and she didn't really. Mm-hmm. And she was like,
God, yuck!
And it just didn't work. I don't think she felt much pain, but it didn't work. She was awake. What's going on? I'm not dying. If I go to sleep, I'm dying. I'm not going to sleep. That's when people die. And what she said in the surgery is people in this surgery where everyone dies, they take out all your intestines and insides and basically put them to the side. Reconnected her pancreas or did whatever they had to do to her and then put it back in. Someone that night died from the same surgery. This is a rare surgery that only this doctor was doing at the time. Very few people knew about it. But guess what?
That's what they do, just incidentally. Side story. That's during a C-section. My first kid was a C-section delivered, cesarean, and they do that as well. They pull out all the guts and stuff, to get to the womb. Oh. And I remember I was in the room, but I didn't see any of that. And when they took the baby out and put it in the crib and everything, and she was like, "All right, now don't turn around." And I immediately turned around. You see my wife's guts all over the place, and you're like, "Huh, I don't know how I feel about that." All right, let's look at this kid now before I pass out. Anyway,
Jesus, the bruising and weird pain you must have internally for a while after that.
Oh yeah,
so,
just
like
air getting
that.
trapped in it. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
But her survival rate was like nothing. So she passed out immediately after the surgery and slept for like a week. And it was touch and go the whole week. She just remembers one day of seeing all this bright light around her and feeling this really positive energy. And that could be written off very easily, except for the fact that her mom, as soon as she woke up, was like 3 days ago, there was all this random... I walked into your room and there was bright light everywhere coming from nothing in particular. The windows were closed, the curtains were drawn. It was so bizarre. And Catherine remembers that. Like something healed her. Like she remembers being healed. Was it her father? Was it something else? I mean, I don't know. She doesn't know. It was just a really powerful paranormal moment. So that's the bulk of the story, but I'm going to take you to the end, which is really touching. So later in life, she's obviously out of Colombia, and her brother moves back, her younger one, whose name I don't know, and tries to reclaim the farm. And he eventually does, but he sent her back her father's crystals, which he used for Reiki and crystal healing on lots of people. And Catherine received the crystals, and she remembers learning about it. And she took the crystals, and there's a spot where you put your hands in it, and her hands fit perfectly. It was like her and her father's hands were the same as she got older, like the same size, same everything. And then she just all of a sudden kind of remembers Atlantis, and she starts thinking back. There's more to the Atlantis past regression stuff I held till now, but she also learned that she was a crystal healer back in that time, an energy healer. And it's not something she really practiced that much until she got the crystals. And now her whole life she goes, I have this ability with crystals and to heal people. I'm not even sure where it comes from. And I can do it anytime. And she's a crystal healer. I didn't even know that. I didn't know. She sits across from me, and I had no idea about any of this.
Yeah, right.
But she has a profound ability to heal people through, I guess you call it energy healing is the right term for it. Mm-hmm. So that was really amazing. And at the same time, she kind of, around the same time, forgave the militants, finally, the people who killed her father and brother, because she just realized, she came to the conclusion, it's not really connected to the crystals, it's just that they were just little boys taken from their families and trained in some horrible environment, and they don't even know any better. They're literally animals. Mm-hmm. That's why they had to back away from them. And that she learned to let go, which is just beautiful. So the end of the story ends with her brother, who got the farm back, and was trying to turn it into a working farm, but was struggling. It just felt like it was cursed. Until they decided to have a cleanse, because they remember all the indigenous spirits and all the weird shit going on. I don't know if it was indigenous. That's what they thought. And they held this really giant bonfire to cleanse the farm. And they took all these pictures of it. And in the pictures, you can see skeletons, indigenous faces with outfits, leaving the fire. And she's tracking down the photos for me now, and she's going to give them to me, and I'm hoping to post them. And she gave me permission to when she locked them down. But they're, with her brother in Colombia, and they're trying to find them. And I'm not, guaranteeing we'll get them. But obviously that'd be amazing evidence to top off this entire story. So that was Catherine's story, which was beautiful and amazing. And I thanked her so much for sharing it with us. It just blew my mind that sometimes the people around you have amazing stories and lives. And sometimes you just go years without knowing anything about someone. And sometimes you just got to ask. And it blew my mind. I was honored to tell the story. She was okay with it. And I just think it's awesome. And I'm so happy she did, because it filled me with I don't know, joy or passion or hope or something. It just made me feel really good,
All of it.
I'm just really happy.
Thank you, Catherine. That's awesome.
Yay.
Awesome story.
Yeah. I mean, I guess to kind of round up all of our random stories, shamanism, or the gift of being able to use the other side to heal the one that you're in or to harm, is a real thing. And how you're able to do it is your communication with the other side. So whether you're using crystals or tapping into your abilities in possibly a past life, or you're using mirrors or monoliths, or, armadillo tails, whatever, however it works.
Yeah, careful with those things.
It's a real thing. But, Catherine's story is amazing. All right, everybody, thanks for joining us tonight. And however you decide to talk to the other side, make sure it's not up someone's butt. I'm just saying. It's just uncalled for. That's uncalled for.
I mean, at least ask first.
Yeah, don't be rude.
Yeah.
Just be nice. Okay. All right, everybody. Have a nice night, and we'll talk to you next week.
Goodbye.